The coronavirus, aka COVID-19, has caused panic and toll all over the world. Born in Wuhan, China, the virus first struck the Eastern Asia as a matter of course. Thanks to globalization, the coronavirus spread to the rest of the world in a rapid speed. Governments all around the world are working desperately to prevent the virus from spreading and to develop the cure. Now, let's take a look at what exactly the world is doing and what are the differences between the countermeasures of the Eastern and the Western world. Being one of the very first victims of COVID-19, South Korea seems to have set a good model to the others. One method they invented was the drive-through test. This innovation can reduce the burden of hospitals and reduce risks for health workers, meanwhile making the progress more efficient. Additionally, in order to stop the disease from spreading, schools are closed for several weeks and public gatherings are forbidden. Another factor how they deal with this situation is keeping information public. This may help people feel informed and in control of their health. People have seemingly benefited from the open communications from their governments and health officials. In Europe, on the other hand, may not have taken the pandemic seriously at first. The UK, for example, may not share the same opinion as the Asians. Here's what Dr. Claire Wenham, Assistant Professor of Global Health Policy at the London School of Economics, commented on Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of the UK.
I'm the first to admit that I'm not Boris Johnson's biggest fan, but I'm... Oh, microphone? Oh, okay. As I said, I'm not first to admit that I'm not Boris Johnson's biggest fan, but I'm relatively impressed that unlike other political leaders who've kind of bowed to pressure of each other and their populations to implement school closures, which we don't have enough evidence to know if it will make a difference or not. Johnson is listening to the current evidence that's out there. He's not doing a Trump and shutting down borders, which we know will have no effect. He's taking a rather measured approach now. If all the country that implemented school closures and mass travel and mass gatherings sees reductions in rates, and the rates in UK are soaring, well, that's a gamble.
It was too late for the Europeans to wait. So far, countries such as Italy and Spain lead the world with new cases and death tolls every day. On the other hand, the condition in Asia seems to have eased a lot. Wuhan, South Korea, and many other countries have already cancelled their lockdowns, while Europe is still suffering under such circumstances. Here's a good question. What could the West learn from Asia? Here are some tips.
Listen 1. Take it seriously and act quickly. China first reported cases of mysterious SARS-like pneumonia to WHO on December 31. However, no one in the world expected it transform into such a tragedy. Therefore, we should stop underestimating it and do everything we can to stop the virus from spreading. Listen 2. Make tests extensive and affordable. Cases in South Korea has gone viral, but the government handled it smartly. With the drive-through test, we can find out the infectors and give them the medical treatments they need. Besides, make the test affordable in order that anyone will have the opportunity to take it. Lesson 3. Trace and isolate. Besides testing, tracing those with whom they were in contact is also essential. If one have been in contact with an infected for sure, he or she should be isolated for at least 1 to 2 weeks. Lesson 4. Early social distancing. Social distancing is considered one of the best ways to ease the outbreak. Governments should urge their people to stay home instead of handing out. Furthermore, one should shut down schools and factories, forbid public gathering if things went really bad. Lesson 5. Keep the public well informed and on site. Some governments have used technology to update residents in great detail. Hong Kong provides an online dashboard of all cases, which include a map that shows the individual buildings where cases were found. The better the people are informed, the easier the governments can control the pandemic. Lesson 6. It's also down to individual attitudes. Asians are somehow more likely to comply with government orders. Many of them seem to see it as a responsibility because they remembered what SARS did 17 years ago. Ultimately, the best way to not get infected or infect others is to take good care of yourself.